Hey, good evening, good night, happy Sunday to you. I trust that your Sunday has gone well and that you are enjoying this Sunday evening. You're enjoying the Super Bowl. For those of you who have a team in the Super Bowl, hey, look, I pray that your team wins. I'm not saying who or anything like that, but hey, God bless you anyway. Hey, listen, real quick. This is Pastor Jess. I just want to come to you with another Sunday night inspirational moment. And I want to read a quote to you. I want to read something to you, then I will make a quote, and then we'll dive from there. And so I won't keep you long. But here's what it says. It says, a bar of iron costs $5. Made into a horseshoe is worth $12. Right. Made into needles, it's worth $3,500. Made into balance springs for watches, it's worth $300,000. And so it says your own value is also determined by what you are able to make of yourself. Now, the quote I want to make simply says, what you have in your hands will work as long as you work what you have in your hands. Oh man, that's good right there. What you have in your hands will work as long as you work what you have in your hands. Far too many times we get caught up in what we have or what we don't have, and there is sometimes the tendency to look at what others have and wish, oh man, I wish I had what they had. I think there's a statement that says, man, if I had your hand, I'd be doing better. No, man, you can have that individual's hand, but you don't know what that individual went through in order to get the hand that they have. All right. And you don't know what the issues are following or what issues that individual is dealing with based on what they have in their hands. I always make this statement in my leadership development conference that everybody's much is much to them. Your much may not necessarily be my much, and my much may not be your much, but don't look down on me because I can't deal with your much. Because the reality is you may not necessarily be able to deal with mine. And so what you have in your hands will work, but you have to work what you have in your hands. Such is the case, we find this principle in scripture when we deal with 2 Kings chapter 4. This deals with the widow woman with the oil. Her husband, who was a prophet, had died. They were so much in debt that the debtors were coming to collect her sons in order for them to work in order to pay off the debt. And she runs to the prophet and explains to him the situation. And he asks her a question. He says, what do you have that I can work with? In essence, everything you need to be successful is already in you. Everything you need to be successful is already in the house. And she makes this statement. She says, well, I have but a little oil and some pots. And the strange thing he tells her is now she's already in debt. And the prophet of God tells her to go get in more debt. Go borrow some more vessels. And he says, not a few. He says, borrow as many as you can, bring them back to the house and shut the door behind you. And she follows what the prophet says. Hear me, child of God. If you trust your man of God, if you trust your woman of God, and you come to them with a problem, and you know they can hear from God, and you trust them, believe the prophet. The scripture says, so shall ye prosper. So she obeys the prophet, goes out and borrows as many vessels as she can, fills them up with oil until the oil stops. Until the oil stops. Man, there's a miracle. Pastor Mike Jr. made this statement. Always within the miracle, there's the miracle that you miss. She says she had a little oil. I don't know how much a little oil was, but listen, she borrowed so many vessels, I'm pretty sure, I don't know for sure, that she had that much oil, but that oil continuously flowed until she ran out of vessels, until her sons came back and said, man, that's it. There's no more. She goes back to the prophet, and the prophet says, hey, sell what you have and live off the rest. Man, can I tell you something? Man, first of all, did you hear that? He says, sell what you have and then live off the rest, meaning that she was going to make so much money off of that oil business that she was going to be able to pay off the debtors and live off the rest. Oh man, that's good right there. That's the first one. What did I say before? What you have in your hands will work as long as you work what you have in your hands. Another case in point is Jesus when he feeds the 5,000. They want to send him off. He says, no, sit them down. He says, you feed them. He says, well, what do we have? And the disciples come back and say, oh man, all we have is this lad who has 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. He says, man, that's all. That's enough for me. He says, give it to him. They place it in his hands. He blesses it, breaks it, and disperses it amongst the people. And the people are fed. So much so that there are 12 baskets full of leftovers. And these are not small baskets. These are baskets big enough that a human being can fit in. 12 of them. What you have in your hands will work. As long as you work what you have in your hands. Child of God, man, be encouraged tonight. Man, don't be discouraged. Don't be disappointed. Don't be upset by what you have or what you think you don't have in your house. Everything you need in order to be successful in this lifetime is in your house. If I can say it another way, like I've been saying tonight, everything you need in order to be successful in this lifetime is in your hands. What you have in your hands will work as long as you work what's in your hands. God bless.